everybody, Petey from BurgZerg Arcade here, and today we're going to continue on with our little multiplayer racer game that we're creating in Unity. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I said at the end of the last episode we're going to go ahead and start making this multiplayer, but I completely forgot that our car is not very stable. It's not very zippy either. It wipes out. I guess I should have upped the force again, but anyway. It's not very stable. It's kind of cool if you watch it up here. You can actually see it lean to the one side as it turns, which is really cool. But not very zippy, not very stable. Wipes out a lot. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that after we get the basic multiplayer functionality up. At least get some basic syncing done so we can at least see other characters on the screen. Then we'll go ahead and start working on a bit more of the physics. There's a couple ways we can get it so that it doesn't tip as often. And if it does, easy way to right itself. But today, we're going to work on just getting it to be multiplayer. So I've already said before that I'm going to be using the Photon Unity Network package. So we're going to go ahead and go to the store. Go ahead, load that up, and just search for Photon. And we have two flavors here. We have the Photon Unity Network and the Photon Pun Plus. Of course, Pun standing for Photon Unity Network. All we need is the free, and once you get your game up and running and you're very happy with it, you can go ahead and pick up the Pun package, or I should say the Pun Plus. It's $100, but you get, I think the value is there. Basically, with the free one, you're allowed 20 concurrent connections, and with the Pun Plus, you're allowed 100. When we go ahead and look at the website, we'll go over that a little bit more. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because they have a lot of documentation on it on their website and on the asset store. So we're going to grab the free version. We'll jump in, and I've already grabbed it. Ooh, it looks like I can update. So we'll go ahead, we'll update, and then we're going to go ahead and include it into our package. All right, it's finished updating, so I'm going to go ahead and import this into my package. You get the normal import dialog box. We'll go ahead, we'll close this. And I don't need all of this. We don't need any of the demos. Now, I do encourage you to go ahead and create a separate project and put everything in there. But I'm going to go ahead and shrink some of this up because I don't need it all. Let me just take a look here. I don't even think I need this stuff. Oh, plugins, yes, sorry. We've got a few things here. Utilities. Well, we're just going to leave out the demos. I think there's other stuff here I can get rid of as well. Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure I don't need any of this stuff, but we're going to go ahead and at least just not include the demos. And we'll just go ahead and hit import. We'll incorporate that into our package. We'll have a few new things showing up. All right, so when you incorporate Pun into your project, you're going to have this little pop-up here. And this thing is going to pop up constantly on you. Every time you try to do something. Even if you close it and you start doing other things, this is going to keep popping up. So we might as well take care of it now. So if you have not signed up for an account yet for the Photon server, you can do that here. Simply by entering an email and hitting send. It'll go ahead and set things up for you. If you're already signed up, then you can go ahead and enter your app ID, which we'll get from the website. This is the way I do it. And if you want to register by website, you can go ahead and open up an account. Or if you're self-hosting your own server, which we're not going to, there's also options for that. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit this. And I've got the website open, so let's go ahead and head over there and set it up. So here's the link that it opens up. It comes to the exitgames.com website. And if you head over to the Photon Pun, I think it's kind of funny because it's Photon Unity Network. Anyway, it does have some information here about it. I'd encourage you to go ahead, check out all the tabs and everything else. They have a ton of documentation for it, examples of codes that are already using it, some example code, lots of information here. But we're going to go ahead. If you don't have an account, go ahead and register. I like doing it by the website versus the plugin, but whatever floats your boat, I guess. Or if you have one, go ahead and sign in. But let's go ahead and we'll either create an account or sign in. All right, once you have that done, go ahead and head into your dashboard. And we'll go to My Applications. And if you have some applications already made, they're going to be listed here. And you'll notice you have some application IDs. I'm going to go ahead and comment mine out so you can't see them. But if you don't have one yet, come on down to the bottom here and hit create a new app. And it will actually go ahead and set one up for you. I'm not going to do that because I don't know how to actually delete apps from my dashboard here. If anyone knows, go ahead and let me know down below in a comment, because I don't need all of these. I'd like to have the option that if I had one set up, I was running it and then just didn't want it anymore, I could delete it. But I can't find an option. So go ahead and let me know down below if you know how. So anyway, once you're done, make sure you go ahead and copy your app ID. It's going to be listed right here. And we'll go ahead and jump right back into Unity. So it's going to ask you for your app ID. Go ahead, paste it right in here, and then go ahead and pick your cloud region. I'm going to pick US because I am in North America, and that's the one I want. And then all you have to do is hit save, and it'll actually go ahead and save everything for you. So you get this little pop-up here saying success. You've saved your settings, connecting, blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's just telling you now that it's made this little Photon server settings scriptable object down here, and it holds all your information up here in case you ever want to change it. There is one thing I want to do, and if we notice down here, you have all the RPC lists. I always clear them. So when I'm first starting off, I do that, and as we create more RPCs, they'll show up. I've not had a problem with that yet, so if anyone knows of a reason why not to do that, by all means, let me know. And there we go, we're done. We have multiplayer integrate. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't quite that easy, but it's pretty damn close. So I'm going to shrink this down. I'm going to come into our script, and we're going to go ahead and create a new script. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and create a folder first. And I'm going to call it network. So I can keep all my network code separate. And we'll go ahead, we'll create a script in here. C#, and just like everyone else, we'll call it our network manager. And I'm going to create another one in here, C#, of course. And I'm going to call it network player. And let's go ahead and open up both of these in MonoDevelop. Before we run off actually to MonoDevelop, let's go ahead. There's one thing we got to do here, and that's go ahead, take our car. We're going to add another component here. And if we come down here, we notice we now have Photon networking. Go ahead, click that. We're going to want a Photon view. And what this does is allows you to start syncing things over the network so you can see each other. It's not going to be the perfect thing at the start, but we'll go ahead and take our transform, drag it into the observed components. We'll leave the rest of the fields the way they are for now. And we'll just tell it to observe our transform. So it's going to take a look at our position, rotation, and scale. And that's what it's going to sync for us. And like I said, it's not going to be the best way at the start, but we'll work on it and get it a little bit better later. But after we've done that, we'll go ahead, apply our prefab again so it saves off to our folder. Let's delete it. Before we delete it, actually, let's go ahead and we'll create one more empty. I do not want it to be there. A part of the car, I should say. We'll go ahead and delete the car now. And I'm just going to call this spawn point for now. And I'm going to move it up. This is where everything is going to spawn. Of course, you can make multiple spawn points, but for now, let's go ahead and we'll just work with one. And let's make it visible in the scene. There's lots of ways to do it. Pick the one that you like the best. I thought this left a little gizmos. I don't feel like playing with them. We'll just go ahead. Not terrain. Spawn point. Let's go ahead and give it something bigger. There we go. Now we can actually see our spawn point. You just need some point in space. If you actually know the coordinates where you want everything to spawn, you don't even need anything there. But for me, I'll go ahead and put something there. Now let's go ahead and jump into MonoDevelop. So now we're going to start writing some of our network code. And it's going to be very simple. If we actually go back to the Photon website, go to the Developers tab if you're on the Pun. Hit the documentation. It'll open up another tab. Here's some comparisons between the Pun and the Pun plus the Unity networking. There's tons of documentation. I do encourage you to go through and read some of this and take a look at some of their tutorials. But if we come down, all the code we're going to be using is pretty much this stuff here, verbatim. Almost exactly. I know there's going to be certain things that I want differently. I want a much more, I guess, developed spawning system. So for now, I'm just going to have this script spawn us, but later on I want it to be a separate script so we can do other things with it. But let's just go ahead and we'll just start in this one here. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of this code here. We don't need an update. Get rid of the comment. And we're going to go to the start here. And the first thing we want to do is connect. Now, if you remember back when we first opened up Unity and imported Photon, it had that little pun pop up. And it asked us for our app ID. We put our app ID in and it went off and it made that scriptable object for us. Well, we can use that to connect to our server. And the way we do that is we go Photon Network dot, and there's, like I said, a few ways to connect here, but the one we're going to use is the one that uses our app ID on that scriptable object. So we're going to use connect using settings. Right there. And then we're going to pass it a string. Well, if we back this up, we'll see here that it wants a string. It's a game version. So really you could put anything in here, and I'm going to come up here and make it constant. And we'll make it private. I don't think I'm ever going to need to share this with anyone. So it has to be a string. And I'll just call it version. And you can put whatever you want in here. I'm just going to go v0.0.1. Great. Then we'll go ahead and we'll just copy this variable, or constant, I should say. And we'll just go ahead and we'll paste it in there. Now, the next method I want to make is called onJoinLobby. This is one that Photon gives us. So let's come down here and do onJoinLobby. Well, of course, we need the void in front of that. It does not return anything. And inside of here, if we go ahead and look at the code that they provide on their website, we have a few different options here. We can go ahead, just try to join some room, but if it doesn't exist, we're going to get an error. And of course, we could, if we try to join some specific room and it doesn't exist, we can get an error. We also have the ability to join a random room, but of course, if it doesn't exist, we'll get an error. This shows us how to create a room. But down here is actually a better option, at least for now when we're first starting out. We're going to go ahead and just have it create some room options for a room. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look to see if a room exists by a certain name. If it doesn't, we're going to go ahead and create a room based on these options that we make and join it. So using it this way, it is possible that two rooms could be created simultaneously from two people trying to connect. But we're just starting out. We can make this more robust as we go along. Like I said before, we just want to get connected right now. So let's go ahead. We'll go into our onJoin room. And I'm actually just going to go and copy paste that code right in. And again, I'll just quickly go over it just so you know what's going on here. So we're using room options because that's something that comes with Photon to create, well, basically options for a room. And we're going to tell it that this room is visible so other people can see it. And, well, if they can see it, they can join it. And we're going to set the max players. Right now, the max players are 4. Now, that's 4 per room. We're using the free version of Photon, so that means we can only have up to 20 players anyway. So there's no point in going over any value that's 20. Unless, of course, you have Photon Plus, in which case you can go up to 100 if you want. But 100 in a room might be a little bit too much. But anyway, that's what this does. Then down here, we call the Photon Network.join or create room. Now we have to pass in a string for the name of the room we want to join. The room options that we set up. And we're going to go type lobby. There's a few different types here. We're just going to stick to the default. I thought there was different ones here. We'll have to look that up. But anyway, we're going to stick with the default. And let's go ahead and change this variable name. So I'm going to make it a public. It's a string. And what do we want to call it? Let's just call it room name. And we're going to call it VVR, all caps. Call it whatever you want. Of course, since it's public, you'll be able to change this in the inspector. We'll go ahead, we'll post that there. And the reason why we have it in the variables is so we can change it later. We can actually allow people to create their own private rooms. So if you want to play with maybe a few friends, you can go ahead and maybe put a password on it. Make it so only the people that you want in the room are in there. But again, we'll get to that later. Let's just get this up and running. All right, so we've gone ahead and created our room. And now we want to go ahead and spawn our player once we get into the room. Now, I do want to have the spawning of the players out into a different script. But like I said, for now, I just put everything in one script. It's easier to share it around. And until we actually get into creating a better spawning system, this is fine. But I'd prefer it just be all network stuff here. But anyway, on joined room. And here's where we instantiate our player over a network. So we're going to use, Photon Network dot instantiate. It's just like the instantiate command that you normally use in Unity, except with a Photon Network instantiate, you're actually going to create this, well, whatever you're creating on the network so everyone can see it. If it's something that only you need to see, like maybe a particle system for an explosion, or the stuff that only needs to be on your computer, for instance, the displaying of the score on your system, only needs to be on your system. No one else needs to see that. So you can go ahead and choose regular Photon or regular instantiate for that. But for stuff that everyone has to see, that you want, everyone that's playing the game to instantiate into their game, make sure you use the Photon Network instantiate. So let's go ahead. We see that we have two methods here, or two ways to instantiate. Both of them start off with the prefab as a string. So we're going to have to go ahead and create that. And that basically is just what the name of the prefab is that we want to start. So prefab, I want to keep it, well, let's keep this actually private. No, we'll keep it public. I want to keep all my strings up here just so it's easier later on to change them. And let's just call it player prefab name. And I'm just going to call it car for now. Now, in order for this to work, we're going to have to go ahead and come into our prefabs folder. If we take a look here, actually, before we do that, it tells us right down here, the summary, instantiate a prefab over the network. This prefab needs to be located in the root of a resources folder. So make sure it's actually in the root of the folder too. So it can't be in a child folder. So let's come down to prefab. We'll take care of these errors in a second. Come here, create another folder. Call it resources. Drag our car into it. And this will actually go good later on if we have time to get into asset bundles. We can do it that way. Like normally I would just love to have, well, while we're here, we'll create the empty for the network manager. And I'm actually just going to call it manager. Where'd it go? Where'd my car go? Ah, of course my car's not there. We got rid of that a while. Anyway, let's go ahead and try another create empty. I want to rename this to managers. Because sometimes we'll have the game manager, we'll have a network manager. I actually like to have it at the very top. Before, I used to leave either a space or an underscore or something like that and have it sort alphabetically. We don't have to do that anymore. We can actually rearrange the stuff in the order we want. But anyway, while we're here, we can't add the network manager because there are some errors in it. So we'll come back to that after we fix the error. But the important thing is just to make sure you have a resources folder and that the prefab for your player is in there. And you know what the name of it is. So we'll head back into Mono Develop and let's fix up some of this stuff. Okay, and we'll go ahead and leave no space there. So we'll come back down here and we also need a position, a quaternion rotation, and an int group. Basically, you're allowed to group things that you're going to instantiate into groups over the network. We're not going to really bother dealing with that, at least not now. Probably not for this game at all, to be honest. There's not a whole lot we have to do with this game. But anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to call player prefab name. And we'll go ahead, give it a position, which will be actually our spawn point. So we'll go ahead and create a public for this too. And I'm just going to use game object. And as I said, we do want to have a better spawn point system later. So for now, just keep the basics here. So we'll come down here, say, did I not spell it right? S-P-A-W-N. We could have actually made it a transform, I guess. Anyway, we'll go ahead, we'll grab, actually let's do that now. Since we're not really going to be doing anything, let's just go ahead and make it a transform. Over there we can access its position right away. A little bit less typing, of course. We already typed it, but it doesn't matter. And spawn point. And we're going to get the rotation. And lastly, we need this group. And we're just going to put everything under 0. We'll go ahead, we'll close this off. We'll jump back into Unity. And our parsing errors are gone. Great. Go up to Manager, Add Component. Network Manager, there's our script. Alrighty, so spawn point we've already created, so we'll just go ahead and drop this on. Prefab car, we got it spelt right. And room name, again, just allow people to change it here. Well, they're not going to be able to change it in-game, but allows you to change it in the inspector. So that should be about it. We should be able to actually run it now, so I'm going to come up to the build settings. We'll go ahead and add the current one. And just make sure everything's here is set. And let's go ahead and hit build. I'm just going to throw mine on the desktop. And we'll just call it VVR. Call it whatever you want. I just want to know where it's being saved and what it's being saved as so I can open it. Oh, that's it. Oh, there we go. We did build. Usually the first build takes a little bit longer than the rest. Okay, let me shrink this down so we can have both play on the same screen. So I'll go ahead and open up VVR. Here we go. We don't want it to go full screen. I'm actually going to shrink this down even more. Let's just do a 640 by 480. And whoops. I clicked off of it. So we have our car in game. Move that over here. Now it's not going to be pretty. Move this over here. So our other car falls down, hits it, falls over, makes us start rolling. There's going to be tons of things wrong with here. We've got audio listeners. We've got cameras attached to both. There's a lot of stuff we got to work, but we can actually start instantiating multiple cars in the scene. So I believe this is the one that's good. Maybe not. See if we can't get turned around here. Well, we know what's going to be showing on that. Let's see if we can't turn around here. Oh, we're still going to have to play around with the fix. But anyway, we're spawning people over the network now, which is pretty exciting. So this one's actually getting a little bit long. So we're going to go ahead and end it here. And then when we come back, we're going to clean up some of this stuff. So we're only controlling one car. And we can actually play with other people. Right now, it's not actually playable because we control all the cars. Your friend's not actually doing anything. But we'll fix that in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.